Hello, Toads and Toadettes. With the upcoming release of Pikmin 4, we are seeing the return of caves. Seeing these made me so happy as this was my favorite thing from Pikmin 2, and I was sad to not see them return in Pikmin 3. So after I finished my Pikmin music breakdown video, which I highly recommend checking out, I decided to rank all of Pikmin 2's caves. Also, before we get started, I just want to point out this is going to be kind of like a tier list. I'm going to have tiers, and they will be in order. Like, the first cave of a tier will be the worst of that tier, and the last cave of that tier will be the best cave of that tier. Just pointing that out. But without further ado, let's just get right into this. First off, for the C tier, we have Subterranean Complex. Man, this cave probably would have flew by my radar if it was not the best way of getting purple Pikmin for the Doomsday apparatus.
Bruh.
I remember playing through this cave at first, and it just was not anything interesting, and then it has that really bad sub-level with like 30 bomb rocks falling from the sky, along with like 10 volatile dweevils, and I don't know, there's something about that did not settle with me correctly. Also, like, this was the first time I encountered the Gatling Groink. I lost a lot of men there, that's all I'll say. But there is some positives for this cave, like 2 rest levels, giving you a lot of white Pikmin and a lot of purple Pikmin. Like I said, this is the go-to way to get the Doomsday apparatus if you don't have enough purple Pikmin, even though it gets annoying after a while going through this cave so much. Trust me, I did it and I got sick of this cave just doing that. But then for the boss, we have the Man at Legs, which I personally love. I see hate for this boss sometimes, but I think it's a very cool concept, and then having to take cover from its machine gun was really fun in my opinion. Even though, yeah, it does get tedious at times, you're not able to do too much damage at once. I think it was a unique concept for a boss, and I'm glad to see it return in Pikmin 4. The main treasure that it drops is the Stellar Orb, and it just lights up caves. Like, I'll show a comparison. This barely makes an effect, and it's honestly one of the worst items in the game in my opinion. Overall, this cave has a lot of bullcrap and forgettable moments in it, and really the only highlight for me is the Man at Legs boss fight. But let's move on. Next, we have Emergence Cave, and it's not really that I hate this cave or dislike this cave, because, I mean, it's just a chill cave. It's literally the first cave in the game. You unlock purple Pikmin here, which is cool. The main item allows you to go to Awakening Wood. It's just that it's very small content-wise. There is no boss as well, and I love the bosses from caves. Like I said, it's super easy, but it's the first cave, so I'm not going to hate on this cave, it just doesn't have much content-wise, which is why it's where it is. Similarly, the White Flower Garden is pretty cool as you unlock white Pikmin here, but it's a very early game cave, and there's not much content-wise. It's very easy to go through, but it does have more sub-levels, and it has a boss. Even though this is my least favorite boss in the game, as the Burrowing Snagger literally becomes a mini-boss in future games. They show up so much times in this game. I don't know how this is considered a boss. So I didn't really like how they use this as a boss in Pikmin 2. But I mean, it's better than no boss, which is why it's higher than the Emergence Cave. And it also does give you the 5-man knapsack, which, I mean, it's even more useless than the Stellar Orb. It just, you go to sleep and the Pikmin pick you up. But just, I don't know why these 2 items exist. But overall, White Flower Garden is pretty cool, but it's just lacking content-wise, similarly to the Emergence Cave. Next, we're going to be moving on to the B tier. These caves, I do find some enjoyment from playing, and I feel they have more content-wise, and we're just going to start that off with the Bulblax Kingdom. This is really the first, like, early game cave that can prove to be difficult, so it's pretty refreshing going through this cave, but nothing really stands out to me on these sub-levels. It's just more like a little bit harder than early game difficulty sub-levels with nothing really interesting happening. But 7 sub-levels for an early game cave is pretty good. I remember I found this, like, long. I was like, wow, this cave, wow. Only if I knew it was to come. But yeah, the boss for this cave is Emperor Bulblax, returning from Pikmin 1. He fits the final boss criteria in Pikmin 1. He's way harder in Pikmin 1 in my opinion. In this game, you can literally beat him with 1 purple Pikmin. It's sad how little of a threat he is, and he's going to return in Pikmin 4 to be what looks like a mini-boss. So another mini-boss that I don't really like them using as a boss, but I do see that it's obviously these are early game caves, so I can see why they're using mini-bosses as bosses. And the item is the Forged Courage, which gives you the Scorch Guard for your captains can go through fire, which while it isn't anything crazy, it does prove to be useful, especially in the final boss. Overall, the Bulblax Kingdom isn't anything crazy, but it's nothing bad either. Next, we're actually moving on to an endgame cave, the Cavern of Chaos. I have this cave pretty low, as the other two caves in Wistful Wild pretty much have stuff unique to it, but this cave really just feels like another cave that just has some unnecessary stuff and is dragged on pretty long. First sublevel, you have all these bomb rocks all over the place. Then you go to sublevel 2, which has 3 fiery Bulblaxes, which all have treasure. You can take the long route of just punching them, which I just did not do. Or you can just pray your red soldiers are tough enough to kill the fiery Bulblax. But overall, I just do not like when treasure is in fiery Bulblaxes, as you can basically only use red Pikmin to kill it. And then, oh, the Gatling Groink level, man. There's just like the 50 Dwarf Red Bulborbs. The Gatling Groinks, please. No one wanted these. They're both free, just roaming around. And I remember it felt like a stealth game. I was just trying to get past these guys. That was a horrible sublevel. But its final sublevel 10, makes up for it. I love the segmented Crobster. I've seen people like say that this boss is forgettable. I think how it works is very cool. How you have to make it hit the wall, and then it's vulnerable. It's very cool because if you mess it up, you could lose a lot of Pikmin. And it's a pretty lengthy boss that you can't really cheese in any way. Since it's in Wistful Wild, it does not drop any items just besides a normal treasure, which is not that cool. Overall, I think this cave has some goods, but it has some pretty bads. Next, we have the Snagret Hole. And man, I'll just explain this cave with one clip. It is what it's called. It's a cave full of the Snagrets. How is a Snagret even a boss in the White Flower Garden? There's so many of them in this cave. Besides for all the burrowing Snagrets, it can be pretty forgettable. Its boss is the Paleted Snagret, which is basically the boss version of what should not be these boss burrowing Snagrets. It's a Snagret, it has a longer beak, it can walk, and it's more tankier. It feels like a boss. And while it doesn't do anything crazy, I still enjoyed fighting it. Its item is the Justice Alloy, which is pretty useful. It lets your captains take less damage from literally anything, which this proves to be very clutch in future caves. And I recommend getting this item as early as you can, so I think that's a big plus for this cave. So for the Snagret Hole, it's pretty good, Next, we have the Shower Room. I love the Perplexing Pools caves. This is for sure the worst. First of all, it uses my least favorite theme, the shower room theme. It's ugly and it's annoying and it uses it too much. It does introduce some cool enemies like the jelly floats, which I'm actually a pretty big fan of, as well as a unique rest sublevel. It's very big and I don't think this is seen anywhere else, so I think that's pretty cool as well. But its boss is pretty trash, let me say. This cave is home to the Ranging Bloister. You can basically just put a captain on one side of a gate and then get the other one and have like just literally like 2 purple Pikmin and then like one wave, all of like half of its health's already gone. And if you don't do that, this boss is just very annoying. This is one of my least favorite bosses in Pikmin 2. I just feel like it wasn't really executed too well. And the item it drops, the Amplified Amplifier, allows for your whistle to go farther. And I mean, if you're playing the Wii version or the Switch version, it already goes pretty far. It is somewhat useful, but I think the item's nothing crazy. Overall, this cave is pretty good, but the boss is a huge letdown. Finally, for the B tier, we have Hole of Beasts. This is a short and sweet cave, and it's a early game cave. Wow, an early game cave this high because it is executed very well. It introduces the rest sublevels, which are just something else, man. I love those rest sublevels. While also keeping the difficulty nothing too crazy, but really gets you introduced to how caves are going to work in this game. And then for its boss, you have the Empress Bulblax. This is the first boss in Pikmin 2, and I think it's a very good way to teach players that bosses can be very punishing. If you approach this boss wrong, she will basically just crush all your Pikmin. So it forces the player to find ways to attack the Empress Bulblax so that won't punish your Pikmin. And then the item that the Empress Bulblax drops is the Prototype Detector, which is arguably the most useful item in this game, as it's the treasure gauge. It tells you if there is a treasure where you are, how close you are to it, and is my most used item probably, and probably everyone's most used item. So overall, even though it is easy and doesn't have too much content, everything it does is executed perfectly and has one of the most useful items and a pretty cool boss. Very well done on introducing new players. Starting us off in the A tier is the final cave for the Valley of Repose, the Frontier Cavern. This cave introduces the Bulbmin, which was very cool to see at first. I thought it was just another Bulborb that had like little baby Bulborbs. But as I saw it devour my Pikmin, I just decided to punch it to death. And then boom, you get 10 cute Bulbmin that are immune to literally every single effect, and they prove to be very useful. Sadly, you cannot take these cuties outside of caves. I mean, how can you not like Boldman? Maybe I should have made this cave S tier just for introducing them. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. This cave also has some Christmas themed treasures. I mean, who can't love the Christmas themed treasures? Gets you in that joyful mood, huh? And then, interestingly, in its rest sublevel, it has an item in a rest sublevel. It's weird. This is like pretty sure the only item you get in the game that's not from a boss. Inside one of the Mamudas, you get the Brute Knuckles. This will upgrade your captain's punches, which proved to me to be very useful. Having the Brute Knuckles be unlockable so easily and proved to be so useful was pretty amazing for just being a rest sublevel. And then we have the boss. Only 8 sublevels. I think that's a perfect length for caves. But sadly, the boss proves to be underwhelming. The Empress Bulblax makes a return for another cave, which I think is very sad. She has switched up this time. She basically just gives birth during battle to fight these annoying Bulborb larvae. And the best strategy is just to sacrifice a captain. I'm so sorry, Olimar, no. Overall, just an annoying and unoriginal boss for this cave, which is a pretty big letdown. But you do get another item. This is the only cave to have 2 items, which skyrocketed this cave on my list. It gives you the Repugnant Appendage, which gives you the Rush Boots, which allows your captains to move faster. These are 2 very useful items in these caves, which is why I put this cave so high, along with some just overall good sublevels. The only thing bad about this cave really is its boss. What a way to start off the A tier. Next, we have Citadel of Spiders. This is the first cave in Perplexing Pool, and it's really the only, like, laid-back, easy cave, as you can access it as soon as you land in Perplexing Pool. It's a short and sweet cave that has really no bullcrap, and it's just a fun experience to go through. But the best part about this cave is its final sublevel, which has the Beady Longlegs boss returning from Pikmin 1. Give it up, people, give it up. I love the Longlegs fights. This one's very satisfying to just absolutely destroy with all your yellow Pikmin. And it rewards you with an item, the Key, which is also arguably one of the best items, as when you get the Key, you unlock the challenge mode. Literally a big chunk of this game you unlock from just getting this item right here. Crazy to think that it's an item that unlocks you the challenge mode. That's interesting, Nintendo, interesting decision. Overall, the Citadel of Spiders is nothing crazy, but it really has nothing bad in it. Next, we're returning to Wistful Wild with Hole of Heroes. This is the longest cave in the game, and it requires all elements as well. This cave took me like almost 3 hours, which some might find that bad, but I mean, it's a lot of stuff in it, and it really just depends if that 3 hours was quality enough, and it's kind of hit or miss for this cave. I like how it's basically a boss rush of a cave. You know, you have your occasional normal sub-levels, but then sub-level 4 sees the return of the Peleated Snagrit. This boss sucks, as it has this annoying sandy sinkhole that just brings all your Pikmin down. It's very hard to kill this Peleated Snagrit, but it's cool to see some of these bosses return. But then next we have the return of the Ranging Bloister, and I think this boss is better because obviously more enemies to make it more difficult, and I'm pretty sure you can't do like the gate strat. So now you're really getting to see what this boss was intended to be, and it's still not the best, but it is better, and it's cool how it requires both captains. Then we get more Bulbmin. Let's go Bulbmin. And then we see the level, sub-level 9. Oh, this sub-level is home to every single Bulborb in the game, and man, Bulblax Kingdom been quiet since this sub-level dropped. Every time I tried this sub-level, I would just find that my Pikmin would die, and then I wouldn't have enough red Pikmin to take out the fiery Bulblax, which is the Bulblax that of course has the treasure. I ended up having to use Muscular Olimar to brutally beat the heck out of every single Bulborb here. No, this was not fun. It took a long time, and I do not like the sub-level. What's my the Dimensional Slicer? Get out of here. What is this? This is not fun. No, get me out of the sub-level. Let's get to sub-level 15, the final sub-level in Hole of Heroes, where we fight the Raging Longlegs. This is hands down the most satisfying boss to kill in the game. Body hangs low and you just destroy it by spamming, so it's so satisfying to kill. It does have big feet though, so watch out as it can crush some of your Pikmin, but overall I love this boss. Sadly there is no item here, which is kind of a letdown, but hey, you save Rob at least. Like I said, Hole of Heroes is hit or miss. It has a lot of content and some fun return for bosses, but it doesn't have the best normal sub-levels. But overall, I think it averages out to an A tier. And finally, for the A tier, we have Glutton's Kitchen. BREADBUG Gang! Here we are, we've made it, Glutton's Kitchen. It's basically just a fun sub-level where you're just fighting for treasure with the bread bugs. Nothing bullcrap really happens here. Maybe someone got bodied by the spotty bull bear and quit, or so, I don't know. And it's short and sweet, only 6 sub-levels, and its boss is the giant bread bug. Big boy bread bug, let's go! Sadly, you're gonna have to kill the bread bugs, but it's not gonna be in vain. You get the treasure in their name. And the item you get from the big boy bread bug is the dream material, which gives you the anti-electrifier, allowing captains to go through electricity. Nothing too crazy, but it does prove to be useful in some scenarios, especially the final boss. Overall, just a very enjoyable cave. Moving on to the S tier, we're starting it off with the final cave in the game, Dream Den. What a way to end the game, man. Dream Den is almost as long as Hole of Heroes with 14 sub-levels. Oh yeah, and hey, watch out for the falling spotty bull bear that falls from the sky. I don't know what this was. I didn't even know this happened. I was just like walking around. I wanted to go kill these dwarf bull bears, but the daddy bull bear was like, that's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna drop out of the sky and kill your Pikmin. Then we have this annoying sub-level with the puffy blowhog and the careening bugs, as well with the bumbling snitch bugs. These all just make for a horrible sub-level, as the bumbling snitch bug will take both captains, the puffy blowhog will blow all your Pikmin down, as the careening bug blows them all up. Don't worry, it happened to me, and this just proves to be an annoying sub-level. And then we have the only rest sub-level as well. At least there is a rest sub-level, right? You know, you can't go wrong with a rest sub-level. Bread bug! Let's go, bread bug! And sub-level 13, man, Olimar was dead at this point in my playthrough. I had the president at like 1 sliver of health left, and there was just a bunch of bullboars. Luckily, I've been saving up ultra bitter spray, so I just, like, you know, destroyed every bullboar in this sub-level. But wow, what a way to try to get to the final boss, man. They just throw all this crap at you. But once you get to it, here you are at the final sub-level of the game. Fighting the Titan Dweevil. You're gonna save Louie. This has a lot of treasure in it, with like 4,000 Pokos worth of treasure. And also, the Titan Dweevil is the best boss in the game. It uses every element. It's just cool. You can choose which treasures you want to destroy first to remove whatever weakness you have. Like if you don't have that much red Pikmin, destroy the flare cannon first. Or if you don't have that much white Pikmin, then destroy the comedy bomb first. There's overall a very unique and creative and inventive boss fight. I love the Titan Dweevil. Good job. There's also no item in this boss, but I mean, it's fair. It's the final cave. You at least save Louie and get a lot of Pokos for it. Overall, an S tier cave. Love to see it. But finally, we have the best cave in Pikmin 2. Not even the Dream Den could dream about being this good. Submerged Castle. While it's only 5 sub-levels, each sub-level is quality. You can only bring blue Pikmin to this cave as it is submerged in water. And this proves to be very unique as it requires all elements, it says. You do get some Bulbmin along the way to help you, but the most unique thing about this cave is that after 5 minutes pass, the Water Wraith falls. It's a boss that is in every sub-level, but you can only kill on the final 4, and he'll just chase you down, and it makes these sub-levels very tense, and the anxiety levels go up, and I absolutely love that. Despite only having a few sub-levels, every sub-level has a lot of stuff in your way, which makes it feels like it was designed for you to find the Water Wraith on each sub-level. It is possible to not see the Water Wraith on sub-levels if you do it fast enough, but I think the Water Wraith is part of the fun. It's very unique. It's never been done before in Pikmin 2. The cave even has its own unique music, which makes it feel very unsettling. I touched on that in my Pikmin music breakdown video. Go watch that if you have not. It's also not too long either, which I tend to like the more middle-ranged caves. I don't like the really long ones. And its boss is obviously the Water Wraith. On the final floor, you're able to damage it with purple Pikmin. The cool thing is, it'll trick you into thinking you beat it, the fanfare plays, but oh no, now he's just running around. Nothing really hard happens. It's just another phase. But hey, it's something even more unique to this cave. And it does give you an item. It gives you the professional noisemaker, which while it isn't crazy, it is pretty good, as when you whistle, any Pikmin that are still planted pluck right out, and that means you don't have to take time plucking anymore. Thank you, Nintendo, for making this amazing cave. This is for sure the best cave in Pikmin 2. And there you go, my Toads and Toadettes. That was my ranking for every cave in Pikmin 2. Obviously, this is just my opinion, so I mean, if you really want to like go get pissed in the comments or something and be like, no, Subterranean Complex is the best cave in Pikmin 2, you're stupid, you're ugly and annoying, then go ahead and do it, because I love to see what you guys have to say. Overall, I'm just so excited to be able to have caves return in Pikmin 4. That's why I made this video. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing, as subscribing's free, and I heard it might extend the time before the Water Wraith falls down and crushes all your Pikmin. again. I also do have more Pikmin content on my channel. I've been making a lot of Pikmin content recently, so I recommend checking that out. And I do have other Nintendo related content as well. On that note, guys, I will see you in the next one.